Are grappling warm-ups bullshit? We've all done the basic movements, forwards rolls, backwards rolls, running, shrimp, break falls, technical stand-up, etc., etc. In fact, we've probably done them in outrageous amount over the last 2.5 years.
The metaphors abound. We can teach a man to fish, or we can give him fish. In the beginning stages, you need to be given fish. You need to understand what a hammer does before you build a house. So we need to understand the actual tools themselves, these movements that we often use to warm up, and we need to eventually add context to them so that there's relevance and specificity. We also need to consider how our brains learn. That is block versus randomized training. So block training is when we learn what a hammer does. We just pound a nail over and over and over, reps on reps on reps. However, there's a massive distinction in skill acquisition versus skill application. Multiple studies have demonstrated that block training is great for skill acquisition, the initial learning stages. However, it's very difficult to apply that skill without some randomized context. That is, we can't just hit nails on a flat surface. We need different size nails, different size hammers, different angles, different materials that we're pounding nails into.
To be clear, I'm not talking about, when your government forces you into isolation and takes away your job and your training ability and all that kind of stuff, and you have no other option. I'm talking about how you choose to start either your classes, your open mats, how you choose to start your training every single day. I'm not trying to discredit any of these movements. We all do them, we all must do them, I think, and we all must learn how to apply them, and in my opinion, that's the part that's missing from a lot of this. By the time you're say a mid-blue belt and you've done thousands of hip escapes, or shrimps as they're called, you don't need to do them again, lest they become something rote, like you might as well be doing jumping jacks or riding a bike or jumping rope, something like that that only gets the blood flowing and has no specificity, no context to what you're going to be doing to tax the body further. So the warm-up is disconnected from what you're actually practicing, and that's a problem.
Again, we need to consider how our brain works. When it's overstressed, our brain shrinks to a more fundamental part and it's not conducive to learning. However, if we allow our brains to relax, we can think critically and think creatively, and that is an excellent way to warm up for more stressful activities.
I want to add too that when I started training again about 4 years ago, or right before that, I hadn't trained in about 5 years, something like 5 or 6 years, something like that. And I did these types of drills every single day. I did them for 10 to 20 minutes in my living room every day to sort of get back into fighting shape. Again, that's not what I'm talking about here when you don't have any other option. I'm talking about making the best use of the mats and the training partners and the time that you have to try to build context and build those neural pathways in a more relevant fashion.
One of my favorite warm-up activities is a simple sub-for-sub flow. It's a chance to think creatively and start to see submissions, see opportunities for attack, and develop your plate vision, so to speak. You get a chance to implement what you're working without the stress of a live environment. The whole purpose is to get tapped, to escape, practice your escapes, and to practice seeing opportunities to attack your opponent and start building neural pathways and allowing yourself to learn, like learn what your instructor is about to teach you. Another suggestion might be to add context to the movements you already do. Rather than just shrimping up and down the mat, shrimp with somebody on top of you. Rather than just doing sit-outs or break dances up and down the mat, do them with somebody in a body lock behind you so that they can also get something out of it as well, whether that's maintaining the side controller mounted position or trying to maintain the rear referee's position. One more suggestion might be to create a series of mini games. Now, these can be somewhat artificially created, and you could say the same thing of positional sparring or specific training, that any given rule set can be manipulated, and that's true. But what we're trying to do here is just create a set of constructs and to illustrate a certain principle that we may be exploring in the class further. So this example that you're watching right now. And these clips, we're working takedowns, but not just takedowns in general, working takedowns from a grip change or a set of grips that changes every minute. So the front side hand to a cross grip to over under position to double unders to double overs. So we have to think creatively. We're just drilling back and forth. It's not sparring, but the idea is our brains are getting warmed up and really getting a chance to think about the concepts and principles that drive whatever techniques we're trying to learn.